Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your WWE Raw post show for Monday, April 26, 2021. Tonight on the show, Braun Strowman added to the WWE title match at WrestleMania Backlash. New Day throws tomatoes, and Shayna gets wet. She had a bucket of water thrown at her, Shayna Baszler. That's what happened tonight. You all saw that. Welcome to the show. She got all wet, Shayna did. So did Nia. Swimming in a puddle next to the ring. What a terrible episode of Raw we saw tonight. Did you watch Raw tonight? Let me know in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to the members of the team. I need you guys. I need your energy because I just watched 3 hours of WWE Raw, and oh my goodness, it was not great. Shout out to Angelo, member of the team. Become a member of the YouTube channel. Craig Paquette. Shout out to Craig. I was chatting with Craig earlier while I was watching Raw. He was in the chat. I was talking to Craig. Become a member of the team. Go to donate.ringsidereport.net. Go to merch.ringsidereport.net. You could have a cup just like I have my cup. This is a Ringside Report official. Nothing better. Shout out to Bob Cote, Lorne Cronish, Mako. I see you guys. Shout out to everybody watching. Appreciate you. Hit us up on Super Chat. Support the network. We're here to talk about Monday Night Raw. Oh, it was rough. It was a rough episode of Raw. Struggling to find some positives out of this show. I really want to have some sort of positive something out of it. It was a silly show that bordered on offensive at times. It was pretty awful. Angelo, you watch bits and pieces. I don't know how many people actually watched the entire show. It's pretty rough. Bob says he missed the first hour and a half. Watched a well-needed Canadians win. Oh, Canadians played tonight? Seems like they play all the time. I feel like every time I'm doing a show, the Canadians are playing. Everybody's in the chat. You know, a lot of people in Montreal. I'm in Montreal. I don't really watch hockey, but like I feel like they're always playing. I don't know what's up with that. They have so many games. Those guys work hard, man. Must be tired. God damn. Good for them. I'm glad they won. Good for them. Although, what happens if they win the Stanley Cup? Do they do a parade still? Because that would be a little, right? Anyways, Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre are in the gorilla position to start off Monday Night Raw. And they're talking about their upcoming tag team match against Mace and T-Bar. And Braun wants Drew to thank him for saving him last week. And Drew says, well, I didn't need your help. I could have taken care of Mace and T-Bar by myself. But Braun was like, they were beating you. You were going to get really hurt. You needed me. And Drew is just too prideful to thank Braun. Braun says, well, fine then. I'm going to go take them on by myself and show you how to beat Mace and T-Bar by yourself. Which, of course, doesn't work for Braun. He wins, though. He does win by disqualification, which I think was the finish to Drew's match last week. Like, Drew won by disqualification when it was the exact same finish as tonight, but with Drew last week. Mace and T-Bar have Braun in the corner. They won't stop attacking him in a double team situation, so the referee disqualifies them, which is exactly what happened last week. And then Braun Strowman showed up to save Drew. This time Drew shows up to save Braun, and they do a tag team match, right? Mace and T-Bar versus Drew and Braun, which I think the finish was exactly the same tonight as it was last week. It was a count-out victory for Mace and T-Bar. And I'll be able to tell you here in a second what the finish was last week. I'm pretty sure it's exactly the same as last week, where Drew won by disqualification, but then when Braun showed up, they lost. It was a disqualification last week. Mason T-Bar beat Braun and Drew. This time it was a count-out because Drew couldn't make the count. It was a weird finish. The announcing team was all over the place. Adnan not doing a great job. Not really enjoying what I'm seeing from Adnan. Ugh. Or hearing, rather. Just terrible. Mason T-Bar win by countout. Braun was hitting Drew accidentally clotheslined Braun, right, outside the ring. And then T-Bar slid in the ring as Drew was just, confused. And T-Bar slides in the ring to beat the 10 count to get the win. And then Drew and Braun kind of got into it after the match, and Braun hit his power slam on Drew. Adnan, the announcer, the new play-by-play guy, called it a running power slam, even though Braun wasn't running. He just kind of stood there in place. You would think the guy would know what running looks like, but unfortunately not. Called it a running power slam. Just power slam Drew. Drew then wanted a match with Braun Strowman, and that was your main event tonight, Drew versus Braun. Braun at some point during the show asked Adam Pearce if he could get a title match, if he could jump in to the Bobby and Drew title match at WrestleMania Backlash, make it a triple threat, because if he beats Drew, then he deserves a title match, which made a lot of sense, and Adam Pearce agreed. Drew didn't seem too happy about it. Bobby and MVP didn't seem too happy about it either. MVP cut a promo during the show with Bobby in the ring, complaining about it, saying that this is how Bobby lost the U.S. title. He didn't actually get pinned. He lost it in a triple threat match, and he could lose the WWE title, which he's now held for 56 days, as MVP pointed out tonight. Bobby Lashley talked about defending the WWE title at WrestleMania, and he said he held this towel up high and demanded respect. I think he tried to say title, but it came out towel. Not a great promo, by the way, from Bobby and MVP. It's better when Bobby lets MVP do a lot of the talking. MVP's good at it, but it's just kind of a lot of the same stuff over and over again. There's not a lot of material. Bobby's the chief hurt officer. He's the almighty. He's the WWE champion, and so on. I think it's all right, but it's not great. It's not great. So the main event tonight is Braun Strowman versus Drew McIntyre, right? And Braun gets the win. Hits the power slam after a distraction from Mace and T-Bar. So Mace and T-Bar at a certain point were attacking Drew McIntyre, and Drew was accusing MVP of sending them after him, which now seems like that's not the case, right? Because the match tonight, so Drew, if he wins, it's just one-on-one Bobby and Drew at WrestleMania Backlash. But if he loses to Braun, then it's a triple threat. So MVP and Bobby, at a certain point, Bobby distracts the ref during the match. MVP pulls Drew McIntyre out of the power slam position, saves him from getting power slammed, and then Drew got the advantage, hit his DDT. So MVP and Bobby were trying to make Drew win this match. They were trying to steal the match away from Braun Strowman tonight. But Mason T-Bar, they jump on the apron at a certain point. They just show up out of nowhere. They jump on the apron to distract Drew McIntyre. Drew punches them both down, so there's no disqualification because they didn't make contact with Drew. They just jumped on the apron, and apparently that's allowed. Drew punches them down, turns around, walks into the power slam. 1, 2, 3, Braun Strowman wins. And that was the finish of the main event tonight. So Braun Strowman is now in the WWE title match. It'll be Braun versus Bobby versus Drew at WrestleMania Backlash on May the 16th. And I still think Bobby probably retains there. I don't think we see a new champion at WrestleMania Backlash, but I don't see the point in putting it on Drew or Braun. I thought Drew and Braun had the best match of the night tonight, at least. It was better than their tag match. Their one-on-one match was pretty good. Drew hit a nice overhead belly-to-belly on Braun. It's pretty impressive. Anybody can do that to Braun Strowman, you know? That was pretty good. Drew's a big, strong guy. Braun hit a nice power bomb to counter a Claymore on Drew. That was pretty sweet. Drew hit a nice spine buster. Like, there was some good moves in this match. I thought it was decent. I didn't hate this match. You know, I really didn't. I thought the match was all right. The finish was, you know, complicated and a little iffy. But I thought the match itself was probably the best match of the night. I think Drew McIntyre's doing decent work in the ring. It's just his promo and character, not that moving. Not that great. But I thought the match itself was good. And this now proves that Mace and T-Bar are not with MVP and Bobby, right? That's something. At least they gave us something. They advanced the story in a way, which they don't often do. A lot of times you just get a lot of nothing on Raw. At least we got some clear understanding of what they're doing. So it seemed like Mace and T-Bar were sent by MVP and Bobby to beat up Drew at one point. But now tonight, they were working against MVP and Bobby, helping Drew win this match. That's something. So are Mace and T-Bar with Braun? Does Braun win the WWE Championship with Mace and T-Bar as his goons? Because Mace and T-Bar are just goons. They're the foot soldiers from the Ninja Turtles. They're just like, you know, they're the bad guys that come before the boss. You just kind of smack them around and then... So they need like a boss behind them because they're goons. Their promos are just like goon promos. They're just like henchmen for somebody. Or they become jobbers. They either are goons and like backup for somebody like a Braun Strowman or Mustafa Ali, which they were, but now not, and now where's he, right? But they're goons. They are not like characters. Their names are Mace and T-Bar. They're just two big monster guys there to back somebody up. So it would make sense if they aligned themselves with Braun. They did help him win this match and earn him a WWE title shot at the next pay-per-view. So, you know, I think they're goons. And I think that they would work well with Braun Strowman. I mean, they're big, but Braun's like a little bit bigger. Braun's never really been given like a team. It would make Braun look more formidable and scary if he had a goon squad. I kind of wouldn't mind the presentation of Braun Strowman with two monster goons by his side. I mean, you look at them, it would be pretty hard to beat. Who can mess with that on Raw? That goon squad. So, you know, it's not bad. If those guys are with Braun with them, they take out Bobby, no problem. They take out Drew McIntyre and Sheamus if they want to get them back together. You know, like, who's taking those three out? Some big guys. I don't think they're paid goons. I think that they're, you know, I don't know what exactly their motivations are. I don't think the WWE's really sure what they're doing with them because commentary didn't say a word. Mason T-Bar, like, it was thought, if you're watching this show and paying attention, which, like, you know, hard to do, but it was thought that these guys were helping Bobby Lashley beat up Drew McIntyre for some reason. But now they were actively working against MVP and Bobby's interests tonight, helping Drew win the match, or helping Braun, rather, win the match. So they don't like Drew, that's clear, but they're not working for MVP and Bobby. But they also don't seem to like Braun that much because they were wrestling Braun tonight. So I don't really know how you explain them being Braun's goons, you know? They were, like, beating the hell out of Braun Strowman tonight and got disqualified for it. They got disqualified for not relenting on their attack of Braun Strowman in the corner of the ring. So, I don't know. And that's the thing. I'm watching this show and I'm trying to figure it out, and I don't think you can. I'm trying to make logical sense out of this shit, and it doesn't exist. This show is irrational. This show doesn't make sense. Who are Mace and T-Bar working for? What's their story? They're goons. They helped Braun tonight, but I'm not really sure why. And commentary didn't say anything about it, which means WWE doesn't know what they're doing. They don't know. That's a promise. That's a Dave Simon guarantee. They don't know why Mason T-Bar did that. They just needed Braun to win, and they didn't want Drew to lose clean, right? They didn't want him to just lose the match to Braun 1, 2, 3, so they had to have some sort of bullshit distraction. That's what happened tonight. Which is really disappointing because I want it to make sense, like Braun Strowman and a goon squad. That'd be cool, right? But then if you really think about it, it doesn't make sense because he was wrestling them tonight and they wouldn't stop beating the shit out of him. Why would they do that to their leader? So it doesn't make fucking sense. I'm trying to make sense of this shit. I want it to make sense. I want it to be good. I really do. I'm watching it, right? I want it to be good. In theory, I like professional wrestling. I don't really like WWE's presentation of it on Monday nights especially. Friday nights is like a lot better. SmackDown is a much better show than Raw. And it's not the wrestler's fault, believe me. Who is booking this shit? It is a mess. But I really want it to make sense. T-Bar and Mace as Braun's goons would be great, but, that's not what they're doing. The WWE does not know. If they had an idea, they would have fed some lines to their commentary team tonight, telling them to be like, oh, Mace and T-Bar, I guess they don't work for MVP and Bobby. MVP was telling the truth. But they don't do that. Because WWE's like, they're just out there. They have no motivation. They're just goons. They're just a distraction. They don't have any character motivation to speak of. They don't have brains. They're just two Mace T-Bar idiots, right? That's what we're to understand by watching this. They don't have a plan for these guys. You could say, hey, at least they're on TV. I guess at least they have TV time. But I'm trying to make sense of this stuff. I really wish that WWE could make some goddamn sense. It would be more fun if they made some sense. Last night, I watch professional wrestling a lot, and I do like professional wrestling. You might watch this show and be like, oh, well, this guy just doesn't like wrestling, what's his problem? I like wrestling. I was really digging that Kenny Omega Rich Swann match last night on the Impact pay-per-view. I watched Rebellion. The rest of the pay-per-view was, it had its moments, I guess. It wasn't great, but the Kenny match was really good. I like Kenny a lot. I think he's a great wrestler. The story there was interesting. And you can say what you want about that match and Rich Swann or Impact Wrestling or whatever, and, does it matter? But, yeah, hit that like button. Thank you, Bob Burgers. Hit that like button. Don't forget. Thanks, Bob. But that match was kick-ass, and I like the concept there because they're doing something new. They're doing something different. It's unprecedented. The AEW World Champion is now the Impact World Champion, too. They had both belts on the line, and they gave you a clean finish. A couple distractions, here and there, but that's kind of Kenny's gimmick. But it was like a real finish, and at the end, it wasn't a distraction finish. It was a real clean finish. Kenny just hit a bunch of knees to the face, and one-winged angel, 1, 2, 3. And I was loving it last night. I have the ability to love professional wrestling. I've loved Raw in the past, but not tonight. Not tonight. Oh, thanks, Bob. Bob likes my jacket. This jacket is pretty sweet. It's a New Japan Pro Wrestling jacket. It's got all the official patches and everything. And if I turn around and show you the back, it's pretty dope. Hold on. There's like a whole patch on the back. You guys see that? It's pretty dope. It's an embroidered patch. I do like the jacket. I do like New Japan Pro Wrestling. If WWE made a jacket this dope, though, I might get it. New Japan just makes really nice jackets. Their stuff is cool. They market their jackets and tracksuits really well by having the young boys ringside in them. Very smart. WWE should do that. Have cool tracksuits. Terrible episode of Raw. What's going on with Mason T-Bar? I don't understand what they are. I don't understand what they're doing. Wait a second. Derek John, who's a member of the team, says they work for Keith Lee. When Keith Lee returns, he'll be the leader of their group. Derek John's always got good, theories, you know? He's always got good theories, and I like it. I mean, that makes sense, Keith Lee being the leader of their group. It makes way more sense than anything else. Yeah, he had problems with Strowman and Drew and Lashley. It would make sense for Keith Lee to be behind them now. It would make sense. But again, if they're goons, why couldn't they just stay Mustafa Ali's goons? If they are to remain Mason T-Bar goons, why couldn't they just stay with Mustafa? What did Mustafa do wrong? Where's he at? He was a goddamn good wrestler. Where's Mustafa? They didn't fire him. Why couldn't he just stay with them? Why? Where's Mia Yim? It's weird. Is Keith Lee going to bring her back? Because isn't he, engaged to her? It would make sense. Keith Lee just brings back Mustafa and Mia Yim, and they're just a group again. They're called Keith Lee Tribution. It doesn't make sense. Why, if they're goons, take them off Mustafa? Was Mustafa that bad? Because he's small? Because his promos were kind of eh? But Keith Lee's big and his promos are kind of, right? How's that going to work? A team like that needs a guy who could talk. Can anybody talk? Seriously, can anybody talk on Raw? Their goddamn commentary team can't even talk. Can anybody talk on this show? Where the hell is AJ Styles and Omos, by the way? Where are they? 3 weeks now. 3 weeks. They won the Raw Tag Team titles at WrestleMania, have not been seen since. This is 3 weeks of Raw. The Raw Tag Team Champions have been missing in action. AJ Styles and Omos missing in action. I mean, Omos, whatever, but where's AJ? I mean, this show really needs AJ Styles. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. In my opinion, he's the second best in all of WWE, next to the great Daniel Bryan. So where is he? I mean, they're 1 and 1A, really. Depends on the night, AJ and Bryan. But I miss AJ big time. Where's Uncle Alan? I just miss him. Angelo says Mia Yim is on SmackDown. Is she, though? I haven't seen her on SmackDown. I watch SmackDown every week. Is she coming to SmackDown? Did they air a vignette promo that I missed or forgot about? I haven't seen her on SmackDown. She hasn't wrestled on SmackDown, has she? Maybe she's going to SmackDown? I don't know. I don't know, brother, but good God almighty. I missed AJ Styles tonight. Good thing Charlotte was there. At least Charlotte Flair was on the show. What else happened? Oh, Miz and Morrison talked. Oh, You want to talk about some bad shit that happened on Raw tonight? Let's get into this. Miz and Morrison, you know it's going to be bad when I just start talking about them. And guess who's in the ring with them? Elias and Jackson Riker. Because that's who you want to see on TV. Those 4 fucks. Those guys suck. All of them. Each and every one of them. I kind of like John Morrison. But because of his association, guilt by association with those 3 fucking jabronis. They are jabroni. I wish Shiki could still fucking break their back and make them humble. That's what they deserve. Miz promotes his WWE 24 special and his stupid reality show that, like, Miz, honestly, if it was that big of a show, if it was that over, it wouldn't be airing at 11 p.m. on a Monday night on the USA Network. It's not necessary. That's not really prime time. You know what I'm saying? Miz thinks he's fucking big time. The show's on at 11 o'clock at night on USA. You're not like, Miz. Talks about Bad Bunny again. Of course, he can't let that go. It's been 3 weeks, but he's hell-bent on talking about how, he made Bad Bunny at WrestleMania. And even though he lost the match, and he's supposed to be your opponent, you're not supposed to talk about how you, cooperate to make a wrestling match, which he didn't outright say, but he's really strongly hinting at in every one of his promos, which, hey, stupid. Fucking Miz. Awful. Derek John says he thinks AJ Styles has one of those contracts where he doesn't have to work every week, taking time off. Well, if that's the case, they should have scheduled that a little bit better than, right after he wins titles at WrestleMania. Like, if you're trying to push AJ and Omos as this act, I don't buy that. I don't think it's a contract issue. I think something else is going on with AJ Styles. Like, they just won the tag team titles. You're trying to push them as a new act. They're your new Raw Tag Team Champions, and they won them at Mania, Something happened. I think, when everything's quiet and people disappear, what do you think is going on? It could be, I don't want to say COVID, but that tends to be the case with WWE. A lot of times when their people kind of disappear for a while and they're quiet and you don't know where they are, it's like, oh, they have COVID. And I'm just speculating. I don't know if AJ or Omos, it could be one of them, could be neither of them. Who knows? Maybe one of them got hurt. Maybe Omos is injured and they're just waiting until he heals up an injury. Who knows what's going on? But I do find it weird that AJ and Omos just won the titles and they're still not on Raw. 3 weeks now. 3 weeks and counting. And I am counting. I'm paying attention. Somebody's got to. So Miz now in the ring with Morrison, Elias, and Riker, and they want to do a concert. They're going to do an acoustic version of Hey Hey Ho Ho. And it is fucking awful. And they do it for way too long. And it just sucked. It was stupid. Eventually, Damian Priest came out. And I'm not kidding here. Miz, Morrison, Elias, and Jackson Riker were doing a fucking sing-along in the ring. And Elias was playing guitar and singing. Riker was singing. Miz and Morrison were singing. I don't know who this is supposed to appeal to. This doesn't get heat. It's go away heat. It's turn off the channel. It's change the channel, go away, watch something else, never watch Raw again heat. It's so fucking bad. They're literally singing in the ring now. These 4 fucking jabronis. Holy shit. Damian Priest showed up, and he's like, oh, Miz, you lost to Bad Bunny at WrestleMania, and I had a front row seat. Ha ha ha. Okay. That's all Damian Priest has, too, by the way. Hey, I won at WrestleMania. I mean, yeah, okay, but no one gave a shit about you, Damian Priest. You fucking weirdo Undertaker Bad Bunny gimmick. I don't know what you are with the fucking flames and the archer and I don't know what the fuck Damian Priest is. He's Damian the priest. He's a Satanist priest. Son of the devil? I don't fucking know. He's nothing. He's awkward as fuck, and his promos are weird. He's a good wrestler, but shit. There's too many of these guys in WWE that are good wrestlers, but they can't talk for shit. They're awkward and they're weird. This is why Matt Riddle is so fucking amazing right now. Like, you have to appreciate Matt Riddle because he can talk, he's entertaining, and he can wrestle his fucking ass off. Matt Riddle is the bright spot of Raw each and every week. God bless Matt Riddle. I really hope he didn't sexually assault anybody. I really, really hope he didn't. Because I want to believe in Matt Riddle because he's fucking good. Ugh. I really hope he didn't. But I'm split on the matter. I can't quite tell. Her word against his, I guess. Good God almighty. But it was just so bad. And, of course, you know, Damian Priest is talking, and then he's got a surprise for them. And it's Kofi and Woods, and they come out. And Woods has been playing the bass guitar and messing with Elias over the past few weeks. And he's got a guitar case, so you think, oh, he's going to pull out his bass. But he's carrying this guitar case, and it seems heavier than a guitar. And then they open up the guitar case, and it's full of tomatoes. And then they start throwing tomatoes. Woods, Kofi, and Priest start whipping tomatoes at Riker, Morrison, Miz, and Elias. And it is just dumb. I mean, they threw tomatoes at them. I can't believe I'm actually sitting here talking about grown men in their underwear whipping tomatoes at each other. What are we watching here? I really wish this could be better. Because I'm embarrassed to watch it, and I'm embarrassed to tell you all that I've watched it. You know what I mean? It's fucking pathetic. Yeah, that's it, Derek John. He's like Latino Aleister Black. That's what Damian Priest is, right? Like, his gimmick is exactly the same as Aleister Black, except he's Puerto Rican. I don't get it. I don't get it. But whatever. It's not as bad as, I mean, you know, just whoever came up with the idea to, hey, let's do a tomato throwing. Whoever's idea was fire them too. I mean, that's as offensive to me as a wrestling fan as Mickie James getting her shit sent to her in a garbage bag. I'm a wrestling fan. I watch Raw. Whoever's idea was to hire Adnan Virk to do commentary, fire him. That's offensive. Whoever's idea was to throw tomatoes on Raw tonight, fire them. It's offensive. It's offensive to me as a lover of professional wrestling. It's offensive to me as a guy who spends 90% of his waking hours, you know, thinking about professional wrestling and combat sports and shit like that. Like, it is offensive to see this shit. Raw is no longer a show that I can get behind, and, you know, this show was just downright bad. And it is offensive to wrestling fans. And that's why wrestling fans are tuning out in droves. Because it's fucking awful. Truly, truly bad. They were throwing tomatoes. And they were selling it like, you know, Vince drowning in Austin's beer. They were like swimming in the tomato juices. Just whipping tomatoes at them. At one point, Miz did get hit in the face with a tomato pretty good. That was all right, I guess. They showed it in slow motion. You couldn't really tell what was going on when they were doing it. But on the replay, when they came back, they showed Miz getting hit in the face with a tomato in slow motion, his glasses flying off. That was all right. I guess that was all right. But, I mean, how stupid is this shit? How stupid is this shit? And I'm watching this stuff for you, okay? I'm watching this show for you to tell you about it so you don't have to watch it. I watch Raw so you don't have to. It's getting hard. I'll tell you, it's not easy. Oh. Then we had a match, of course. New Day and Damian Priest beat Jackson Ryker, Elias, and The Miz. Once again, some offensive shit here. It's a 6-man tag. They have Kofi, Woods, and Damian Priest. 3 baby faces. They need 3 opponents. But they have 4 guys to choose from. And they choose Riker, Elias, and The Miz. Not John Morrison, who's the only guy among the 4 that can fucking work. He's the only good wrestler of the bunch. They're all shit-ass, boot, club to the back, do nothing, can't actually put a hold on. All their shit looks phony as fuck wrestlers. Miz, Riker, Elias are fucking terrible. In the ring, they're terrible. You can tell they can't actually wrestle. They are the drizzling shits. And fucking Morrison, he's the only guy with anything redeemable about him, and they don't let him wrestle. He just stands on the outside. Offensive shit, WWE. Just at least give me the wrestler. Let the wrestler wrestle, and let Riker stand on the outside and look tough. That silly bastard. How the hell was he not fired? What? It's amazing, too. Miz has had such a long career in WWE. That amazes me. He is terrible. His promos are corny as fuck. You just don't believe anything he says. His matches come off so phony. Oh, this match with Bad Bunny was honestly the greatest match of his career. It was the greatest match of his career. It's this shining moment. He should retire now. This was goddamn awful. New Day and Damian Priest get the win. Riker took the fall. Whatever. This was a nothing match, and I was just so shocked and appalled by the tomato tossing incident that we just saw. I was just fuck this match. Sonya Deville's backstage. She's apparently in charge of Raw now, too. Trying to take over from Adam Pearce. And she opens a door and walks in Charlotte Flair. So I guess her suspension from beating up the ref last week is now over. Then, of course, they do a promo in the ring, Sonya and Charlotte, to explain what's going on. Sonya apparently now in charge of Raw, kind of. Eddie Orango, who's the referee, is also there. The referee Charlotte beat up last week. And Sonya says that Adam Pearce rushed to his decision to suspend Charlotte, and Charlotte is now reinstated, no suspension. And Charlotte apologizes to the WWE and the management and the universe and the ref. And the ref says that, he's sorry. He didn't see Rhea interfere in their match last week. And Charlotte accepts the apology that she demands of the referee for screwing up. And Sonya says that Charlotte has paid her $100,000 fine. So she was still fined, and Sonya does agree with that. But the suspension is lifted, which, what? Oh, yeah, pay the fine, Charlotte. I'm a heel, but I still think what's right is right. You shouldn't be suspended, but you should pay the $100,000 fine for beating up the ref. It half makes sense, I guess. Sonya says Eddie, the referee who was beat up, will be the ref for Charlotte's match tonight. And Charlotte forces the ref to apologize for making the mistake, and he does. And then Adam Pearce meets Sonya and Charlotte in the gorilla position afterward, and he's upset that Charlotte's suspension has been lifted, but apparently there's nothing he can do about it. How did Sonya Deville show up and just, decide that she could take over and be making matches and lifting suspensions? Is it because she wore a suit? Can you just wear a suit backstage and kind of take over from a weak general manager? Is that how things work in WWE? I don't understand. No one appointed Sonya. She just showed up one night wearing a suit on SmackDown. It's been mostly on SmackDown. Adam Pearce has been good on Raw, but now Sonya's on Raw too, which, like, hey, that's what we needed, more Sonya Deville. Just awful stuff. I don't need Sonya Deville ever. I mean, really. Why doesn't she wrestle anymore? What's the deal there? Because she's such a good talker? Huh? She's awkward as fuck, too. I'm not interested in watching Sonya Deville talk. I don't know why she's the general manager. What? Who said, oh, you know what we need to do? We need to make Sonya like the GM with Adam Pearce. That's going to be great. Because the payoff to this is what exactly? You're going to do an Adam Pearce versus Sonya Deville match? What's the fucking point of this? You just make Sonya the GM? Why not just do that in the first place? Why have this whole thing where Sonya is trying to push Adam Pearce out? What is the end game in the Sonya Deville Adam Pearce deal? It can't be a match between these two. What are we doing here? Sonya Deville taking the power away from Adam Pearce, taking control. Okay. Like, Adam Pearce is mad. He's like, Charlotte's suspension shouldn't be lifted. And Sonya's like, too bad, bitch. I just did it. I don't recall Triple H showing up and being, Sonya's in charge too. I never saw that. Do you guys see that? Did Shane McMahon jump in and be like, oh, Sonya too? I don't remember that. Maybe he said it in that long rambling promo he did to Braun where he seemed like he was having a medical attack, you know? Something was going on there. Maybe that was part of that promo that we just missed because it was confused. What happened to Shane? Is Shane all right? We haven't seen him since Mania, but, you know, whatever. What's that, Raw versus SmackDown? Well, how is that Raw versus SmackDown? And what are you building towards? Survivor Series in November? Sonya's now on Raw and SmackDown. It's not Raw versus SmackDown. I don't get it. I don't get what they're doing. I really don't. Maybe it makes sense to somebody out there. I don't think WWE really knows. They're just like, yeah, Sonya's going to be the heel authority figure. We need a babyface and heel authority figure. That's really what it is. And they don't. They really don't. So, Sheamus cuts an in-ring promo, and he talks about his open challenge, and he's going to do another open challenge, but the title's not on the line tonight. And then Humberto Carrillo shows up to attack Sheamus. Last week, he tried it. He tried to have a match with Sheamus, but Sheamus just beat him up. And Sheamus beats up Humberto a bit, but Humberto fights back and hits him with a dive and then leaves. Shouldn't he ask for the match? Like, he seemed to be kind of even there. No? So Humberto and Sheamus are doing something, which is fine. I like Humberto. I think he's a talented wrestler. I'm not really sure how hot this angle is between Humberto and Sheamus, the new U.S. champion, but hey, it's something that they're doing. It didn't take that long, so that's a plus. Candace White says, love WWE. What exactly do you love about the WWE, Candace? I'll tell you what I like about the WWE. Team RK Bro. All right? That's what I like about the WWE. Team RK Bro. Matt Riddle and Randall Orton. So Riddle's backstage, and he's talking about beating Randy last week in their match. And Randy shows up, and he's like, look, Riddle, I don't know what planet you're from. And Riddle's like, Earth, bro. I'm from Earth. And Randy's like, yeah. Look, I underestimated you last week. But instead, you know, I wound up gaining respect for you. And you talked about tag team, Team RK Bro. Maybe we give that a try tonight. And Riddle's like, yeah, man, let's do it. And Riddle's like, maybe we could have, like, matching snakeskin Speedos made together. He's like talking about Randy being the Viper. And he said something about being a mongoose and some character. I don't know what he was talking about. But I enjoyed the Riddle, Randy kind of chemistry that they had. Riddle being this weird guy, telling Randy he's from Earth. I'm from Earth, bro, is the line of the night for sure. Riddle, I don't know what planet you're from. Riddle just jumping, I'm from Earth, bro. Don't worry. I'm not Chris Statlander here, dude. So I thought that was good. I like that. And then they actually had a match, and they worked together as a team, and it worked. And Randy was, like, not sure about it the whole time. And even Corey Graves was on commentary being like, oh, Randy's going to turn on Riddle. He even thought after the match he would turn on Riddle. Team RK Bro, Riddle and Orton beat Cedric and Shelton via pinfall. Randy hit his Hangman DDT on Shelton, and then Riddle wanted to get tagged in. He tagged in, hit the floating bro right after the Hangman DDT. It was kind of like a combo move. Hangman DDT into the floating bro. 1, 2, 3 on Shelton. And they win. Riddle hugs Randy after the match. Randy kind of pushed him away. Riddle wanted to do like a pose with Randy afterwards, but Randy wasn't into it and just kind of rolled out of the ring. But Randy seemed like he liked Riddle. He didn't give him the RKO. Riddle beat him last week, and Randy doesn't seem mad about it. He seems like he likes him and might want to team with him, which makes sense because Randy likes to smoke weed, and so does Riddle. Randy's like, oh, we have nothing in common. I'm like, excuse me, Randy? I've seen your tweets about Snoop Dogg and stuff and hanging out with him and smoking weed and shit. I know that you have a lot more in common with Matt Riddle than you're letting on, Randy. So I think those guys could do like an RVD-style tag team, like Pothead Randy, I think would be kind of funny. I mean, I don't think the WWE will ever go there, but yeah, they can hint at it in some promos. I think Riddle and Randy could be a very fun tag team to watch. Randy as a straight man to Riddle's kind of goofy character. It could be a lot like Team Hell No, the Kane and Daniel Bryan thing, where Kane was kind of the straight man to Daniel Bryan's like goofiness. I think this could be really good, and this would definitely elevate Riddle if this goes on a run. And, as a babyface tag team, them against AJ and Omos for the Raw Tag Team titles makes a lot of sense. I hope Team RK Bro actually gets a run, and we just go with it. Because they were fun tonight. They were the highlight of the show. The match was all right, but the promo before was really good, and just the, will Randy stay with him? Will he turn on him? That whole thing, and Randy staying with him and Randy being kind of amused by him, I thought was really good. I liked it. I really did. I liked Team RK Bro. I thought that was the highlight of the show. I didn't think it was match of the night there, their tag match with Shelton and Cedric, but that was the highlight. That was the best part of the show. I thought Braun and Drew in the end, in the main event, probably had the best match that we saw here tonight. Let's get into the Nia Jax stuff, which was pretty dumb. Nia, Shayna, and Reginald are backstage. Nia doesn't understand why Charlotte isn't suspended for longer. She's thinking about Charlotte for some reason. And Shayna's like, look, we don't need more distractions. Don't think about Charlotte. We need to focus on our match tonight. And Reginald's there, and Shayna's like, hey, you're a distraction too, Reggie. No more distractions. And somebody's got to clip Shayna saying no more distractions, because that needs to be the credo for every episode of Raw and SmackDown going forward. No more distraction finishes. We need to quit the distraction finishes. They rely on it way too much. So Shayna walks away, and then somebody delivers a bouquet of flowers to Nia Jax, and Reginald is like, I didn't get those for you. And then Angel Garza shows up, and he's like, oh, I got them for you, Nia. I hope you like them. Da-da-da. And then Naya's like really happy about it, and she walks away with the flowers that she seems to really like. But then she sees Mandy Rose, and she smacks her in the face, destroying the bouquet of flowers, and says, "Put these in water, bitch." And I'm like, but didn't Angel Garza give you those nice flowers? Like, won't he be sad that he spent money on the flowers and you seem to like them and you just destroy them? Or I guess it's better because he gave you a weapon to use on Mandy Rose, which is even sweeter than the flowers that you would put in water. I don't. So the flowers was really a setup for what we saw next. So Nia, Shayna, and Rhea Ripley team up to face Asuka, Lana, and Naomi. The Sexy Muscle Friends, Dana and Mandy, show up during the match, and they throw a bucket of water on Shayna. Shayna's like, "What are these guys doing here?" And she goes to see them, and then they throw a bucket of water on Shayna, and Shayna is drenched in water. And then Nia comes down, and of course she slips in the water and falls down because that's Nia's gimmick now. She's slipping and falling because Mandy slipped and fell because of the rain at WrestleMania on her entrance, and ever since then, Nia has been falling, and Mandy has been laughing at her because Nia was like laughing at Mandy in the promo, so now Nia is getting a taste of her own medicine. They're using Nia as this comedic foil. I don't really understand why they do this to Nia, why they make the fool, out of Nia. She's just made to look like a total buffoon over and over again. The my hole stuff, the slipping and falling. I mean, last week was enough, but this week they're just doing it again. She's falling in water now, and she couldn't even get up for some reason. Reginald had to, drag her, so she's dragging in water and getting wetter and wetter. I don't know if this is something she wants to do, the comedic stuff, or WWE has just decided that she's a joke. I don't know why. I think mean, scary Nia with Shayna, who's also mean and intimidating and serious, is a lot better. Notice Shayna's not getting into any of this comedic shit. Like, she's getting sprayed with water. She doesn't fall down and sell it like she's, drowning in the water. She just stands there and looks pissed that she just got a bucket of water thrown at her, because if you get a bucket of water thrown at you, you're not going to fall down and bump. You're just going to be wet. Right? Shayna selling it like it made sense. Nia selling it like a fucking cartoon. Nia looking like a joke. Shayna looking like a serious professional wrestler. Gotta love Shayna looking serious. Rhea didn't even get involved in any of this water stuff. Nia, Shayna, and Rhea wind up beating Asuka, Lana, and Naomi. Nia getting the pinfall on Lana after a leg drop. Rhea fully posing with her belt, and Nia and Shayna with their belts after the match. Rhea doing this thing a lot? I don't know what this is about. Like, why is she doing this? This is lame, Rhea. I don't know. I don't buy the Rhea Ripley gimmick. When she looks like she does right now with the, little, the tattoos and the hair and the whole gimmick that she has, Rhea Ripley. But then, 3 years ago, she looked like this. Like, this is Rhea Ripley. 3 years ago, this was her gimmick. I don't know. I just don't buy the, I'm super punk rock, the face. I mean, it's not even tattoos. They're fake tattoos on the face that she has. I don't know if anybody's noticed that, but she's got little, face paint on and the dark makeup and stuff. I think she's just trying to be what Triple H would like, which is smart. She's kind of dressing like Stephanie McMahon would with Triple H. You know what I'm saying? I don't really buy the Rhea Ripley gimmick. I don't really believe her that she's that, whatever. I feel like she has that gimmick, but secretly she's listening to Taylor Swift and shit, she's not that aggressive. Anyways, that's just me. I don't fully buy the Rhea Ripley gimmick, and now she seems to have gone fully heel, which I wasn't expecting that. And it's kind of weird. If Charlotte is a heel chasing Rhea Ripley and Rhea is full-on heel with Nia and Shayna, what? Are they going to do a triple threat with Asuka at WrestleMania Backlash? What's the story? I think the only way out of it now is you have to do a triple threat, right? Because if Rhea's a heel now, because, I mean, tonight was clear. She's full heel. When you're posing with Shayna and Nia, you're a heel. And Charlotte is kind of going after Rhea for the title, and Asuka is there too, and we don't have a clear number one contender. I think you just do a triple threat. So we're going to have a triple threat for the WWE title, Braun, Bobby, Drew, and I think the best course of action for WrestleMania Backlash, if you indeed do a Raw women's title match, which I think you probably wind up doing, I think you do a triple threat. You do Rhea, Charlotte, Asuka, because Charlotte and Asuka heel versus heel is kind of weird. Or, sorry, Charlotte and Rhea heel versus heel. I think you got to throw Asuka in there, and Asuka makes sense to be thrown in there too. She's in the mix. Bianca versus Bayley is official for the SmackDown women's title for WrestleMania Backlash, and Bobby versus Drew versus Braun for the WWE title, the only other match that is official. I do expect Roman versus Cesaro for the Universal title to take place then as well, but not official yet. Roman has to get through Daniel Bryan on Friday night, which I think he probably will. And then Daniel Bryan will no longer be on SmackDown because that's a stipulation. If Bryan wins, he's Universal Champion, but if he loses, he has to leave SmackDown, which means maybe he'll be making Raw better. Wouldn't mind seeing Daniel Bryan on Raw. Anything to help this stupid, stupid show. But people will probably just throw tomatoes at him. He'll have to sing with The Miz, you know? That's what they do on Raw. Maybe he needs to stay away from Raw because they'll just ruin anything he does. Maybe Alexa Bliss and her doll will attack Daniel Bryan. Alexa Bliss, backstage in her ring thing, her playground. It's a ring backstage. I don't know why she's in a ring, but anyways. And this was really bad. This was really bad. Alexa says, we can have a Lily of our own. Lily is the doll. We can have one of our own if we ask nicely, or if we just wait for one to be available on WWEshop.com, right? I don't think they have one yet, but at some point soon. I feel like that's the only reason WWE is doing this, so they could sell the doll. What other reason could they possibly have for doing an angle this shitty? Other than they have no other creative ideas? I don't know. Alexa says to look into her eyes and think dark thoughts and repeat after her, Lily, Lily, Lily. And now Alexa wants us to picture something peaceful, and they show like serene kind of imagery, like a koi pond and some trees and the ocean and shit, like you're in a yoga studio or something, and Alexa's like talking you through like a breathing exercise, and she's like, picture something peaceful, relax, have it. And then the doll shows up, and she's like, and then Alexa laughs like this was a good bit. Show some peaceful imagery, and then have the doll pop up. Like we're all really starting to relax and get into a meditative state here, Alexa. You got us with the doll. Because we're all just like watching Raw here ready to meditate. That's what we watch Raw for. Seeing all these meditation type of fucking images. That's what we're going to do. We're really going to get into it. And then the doll is going to, oh, shocked us. Oh, you got us there. Lame. Fucking 2 thumbs down. 2 fucking thumbs, all right? Double lame. And then Alexa was laughing about it, and she says, Lily is getting restless hanging with her on the playground, and it's time for Lily to play with the rest of the WWE, but don't blame me for what happens next. Lily made me do it. And that is her catchphrase, quite obviously, that she's trying to get over, and it sucks. And this gimmick is stupid. Alexa Bliss is a demon child who is possessed by her evil doll. I mean, you thought The Fiend was stupid? Wait till you see The Fiend Part 2. Alexa and Lily the Doll. Get the fuck out of here. God damn, this was terrible. Like, Mako's saying acid trip, man. No, Mako. Not like an acid trip. Let me tell you about what acid trips are like. Not like this. I think I gotta watch what I say on YouTube technically about acid trips. But let me say this. I do not dislike acid trips as much as I dislike these promos. And acid trips are not this, you know? LSD is a hell of a drug. Let me tell you, it's crazy. It's pretty crazy. It's not like this. I know a lot of people will be like, oh, see something weird on TV, and they'd be like, oh, it's like acid. But if you've done acid, you know that it's not. It's actually not. I have done acid, and let me tell you, it's not like that. It's not like what we saw tonight. I'll admit to doing acid. It was a long time ago. Would I do it again? Maybe. Do I know where to get it now that I'm an uncool dad and not a cool teen? No. No, I do not. You know, when you're a teenager, you're like in your late teens, you're in your early 20s, you got all the hookups and stuff. When you become like a dad, you don't have hookups for things like that anymore. Unless you're, you know, doing it all the time, like you stay doing it. You know, if you're a regular acid user, I imagine that you have a regular acid hookup, but like that's never been a thing. So, yeah. But I don't think it should be necessarily illegal. I don't think, you know. Like, you never heard of somebody be like, oh, they have a real dependency on LSD. I don't think it's a drug that where you develop a dependency. I'm not really sure. I mean, there are dangers to it, of course. It's a chemical that you're ingesting in your body, but I don't know if it has addictive properties necessarily. You know, cocaine, heroin, things like that, people go broke on those things. I've never heard of anybody going broke on acid, you know? Plus, it's super cheap. Wow, we're talking a lot about LSD. I mean, I've done it maybe twice in my life. Both times it's been over 10, 15 years, I'd say. Probably close to 15, maybe more than 15 years at this point. But this Alexa Bliss promo, way shittier than those experiences. Let me tell you, my friends. I have been to the dark side, and I have seen some things. But this was not that. I just have to defend LSD a little bit, because I know a lot of people like to shit on, oh, this shitty thing was like an acid trip. It's like, well, have you done acid? I don't know about that, my friend. I never thought that the conversation would turn to this, but I'm glad that it did, because there are not enough LSD advocates out there. I mean, it's Joe Rogan and me, I think, at this point. I have not, man, it's a crazy thing. It's interesting. It's an interesting experience. Maybe one day we can talk about it. But yeah, it can do some bad things to your brain, but it can also not, you know? How about mushrooms? Anyways, what else is happening on Raw? Mushrooms are something else, too, that I think should be legal, but that's another story. Charlotte Flair beat Mandy Rose by pinfall after the natural selection. 1, 2, 3, Charlotte Flair gets the victory. Another win for Charlotte. She should be number one contender by now. Charlotte got mad at the ref. This is a weird thing. Charlotte got mad at the ref for a 2 count after the big boot. That made sense, right? Because Charlotte has a thing with the ref. This is the ref that she attacked last week. She got a big boot on Mandy. 1, 2. Mandy kicks out. Charlotte's like, that should have been 3. You're screwing me, referee. That made sense. But then Mandy rolled up Charlotte. 1, 2. And then she did another move on Charlotte. 1, 2. And then Mandy seemed frustrated with the ref, too. Like, oh, Charlotte's doing it. I should do it, too. This is what wrestlers do. But it's like, no, Mandy, you're the babyface. You shouldn't be getting frustrated with the ref. You should just be like, okay, let me get Charlotte. It was weird. Like, Charlotte was getting mad at the ref, and then Mandy got mad at the ref. I'm like, Mandy, are you supposed to be doing that? Or are you just kind of confused? It was weird. Charlotte won. Uneventful match. Good to see Charlotte. I'm glad that she didn't get, disappeared. I think Charlotte, Asuka, and Rhea makes a lot of sense. I think Nia and Shayna need to drop those tag team titles as quickly as possible so that we could see Nia and Shayna back in the singles division. I think Shayna, Asuka, Rhea, Charlotte, Nia. I mean, we could have some really good matches here for the Raw Women's title. This division is hot. It really is. You got Rhea, Charlotte, Asuka, those three players alone. That match at Backlash is going to be good. That's good shit, pal, as they say, right? But Shayna, I think Nia, in a certain way, adds another element to it that's pretty good. People like to shit on Nia, and yeah, she's a little dangerous, and maybe she's not the best technical wrestler, but she has an element to her that nobody really has. I mean, she's got that size, and sometimes she has kick-ass matches, and she can do things that no one can really do. She's got a lot of power. She's very strong. She's not Bianca Belair strong, but she's pretty strong. And she's got, she poses interesting problems. She's a different type of wrestler. And that's what you need. She doesn't need to be the best. She just needs to be different. And she is different. You got to give Nia that. She's different than any other wrestler on their women's roster. I like Nia as a player in that division. I think that division is really good. And as soon as you take the titles off Nia and Shayna, you make it even better. Why not give Lana and Naomi a run with the belts? Why not give the Sexy Muscle Friends a run with the belts? Why not give Alexa Bliss and Zombie Nikki Cross a run with the belts? Like, Alexa's going to come after who now? Is she going to enter the singles division on Raw and go after Rhea Ripley for the title? Why doesn't Alexa re-enlist Nikki Cross, who's just nowhere and should be used? They were a tag team. They were tag team champions. Why don't you do the evil version of Nikki Cross? She could be like Zombie Nikki with Alexa, and they have their doll, and then they're the tag team champions. That works for me. I wouldn't mind seeing Lana and Naomi get it because I just feel bad for them. I feel bad for Lana. Lana just mimics every tag team partner she has. When she was with Natty, she was wearing the Heart Foundation type gear, like wearing Natty-style gear, and she's getting this stuff made. Like, she's paying for it, and then they just break her up. Like, she's all in with these gimmicks. I just feel bad for Lana. She was all in, being Natty's tag team partner, got new gear and everything, and then just like, yeah, broke them up, whatever. And now she's with Naomi, and she's all in with Naomi. She's doing the Naomi entrance. She's sliding on her knees down to the ring. She's got Naomi-style gear. Like, she doesn't have her own personality. She's just trying so hard to be all in and be a tag team and just adapt to whatever tag team partner's gimmick she has. She has no gimmick of her own. It's just sad. She just seems pathetic. I feel bad for Lana. Rusev's gone. He's in AEW. And she's just alone trying to, like, be the tag team partner, a good partner for whoever she's with. And she's just trying hard. I feel really bad for Lana, and she's improved in the ring. She's not good, but Naomi's good enough for the both of them. Like, give her the tag team titles. Give her a title before she's done wrestling, because, God damn it, she deserves it. And I know I'm going to take heat for that, but Lana is fucking trying, and you can't blame her for trying. She's not great, but goddamn. Like, come on, these titles mean nothing. Let her have a little run with the tag team belts. It would mean so much to her, right? Like, it would mean more to Lana than it would for most. I think she deserves it. I would be very happy for Lana to get something. She's trying, She's paying for the gear, too. I just feel bad for her. I really do. She's doing all sorts of stuff. She's just trying to be loved and be over. She's trying to be accepted by the wrestling fans, and the wrestling fans are just like, no, fuck you. No matter what she does, fuck you, Lana, you suck, you can't wrestle. She's taking a lot of heat. I feel bad for Lana. I hope they give her something. She deserves it. Poor Lana. Poor little Lana. All right, guys, what else you got? Is that it? I'll see you. Shout out to everybody watching. Appreciate you. Become a member of the team. Don't forget to go to our website, ringsidereport.net. All the stuff that we do, you can find it there. Everything UFC, everything WWE, everything AEW, over at ringsidereport.net. Don't forget to like the video, right? You got to like the video. You got to subscribe. You got to click the bell. You got to get those notifications every time we're on. You get the little notification. You're good, right? Do it. Help us out. Become a member. Become a member of the team. Become a member of the YouTube channel. We appreciate you. You keep this channel running. The members are the ones that keep this channel alive. I haven't always been here after Raw every Monday night, but because of you members, I'm here. After Raw every Monday night. I wasn't always on after every episode of Dynamite, but because of the members, I am on after every episode of Dynamite with my main man, Glenn McKenzie, my other main man, Johnny North. We're going to be here Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, right after Dynamite. I'll be back here Thursday night, 8 p.m. with Freddie and AJ for UFC. All the UFC talk you can handle. Crazy weekend in the UFC. Caught our UFC 261 watch-along. Thank you, everybody, for watching that. Thank you for the super chat that I just heard. Who dropped that super chat? Angelo. Thank you, Angelo, for the super chat. He says, my analysis of Raw tonight was spot on. Well, that's what I'm trying to do for you. I'm trying to get you everything and anything and everything that happened on Raw tonight, entertain you at the same time, and not waste your time by watching 3 hours of Raw. You know, who needs to do that? Angelo, you're the man. You're a super chat leader of the night, of course. You are a member of the team, and I appreciate you. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you, Craig Paquette, also a member of the team. Thank you to the members. You guys keep us going. Craig Paquette, Angelo Contagonis. Who else did I see tonight? Derek John, of course, my man. One day we'll go see Johnny North wrestle together again, Derek. That was a good time. That was a really good time, man. Thank you. Thank you to everybody watching. We appreciate you. Again, on after Raw every Monday, on after Dynamite every Wednesday, on after every episode of SmackDown on Friday nights with Johnny North. Once again, I'll be on Thursday night for Ringside Report MMA. And no watch-alongs this weekend. My God. I feel like I've been doing a watch-along every weekend for the past year. So, none this weekend. Cool. Yeah, UFC 261 was crazy. It was certainly nuts. Wow. Usman, what a knockout over Masvidal. Rose Namajunas, too. Weidman's leg. The Rose kick to Weili Zhang was amazing. Every finish, really. Valentina over Jessica Andrade, that crucifix. Good God almighty. Some wild stuff at UFC 261. Really wild stuff. Thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you to Bob Burgers, Lauren Cronish, Mako, Bon Kiki out in Chicago, Bob Cote, Candace White. Thank you, Candace. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys watching. I'll be back here Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, right after AEW Dynamite.